what are some key hires that you've seen companies take on that have filled, notable roles, and what did that timing look like? For again, that's kind of the second stage.
No,
Growth.
very. I've got some kind of personal opinions, and I'll share some of others. Some people far
Yeah.
more accomplished than me. So, it varies based on your business. There's a very successful entrepreneur, David Cummings, out of Atlanta, very famous. He
Hmm.
bootstrapped his company, sold to Salesforce, founder of the Atlanta Tech Village. He is a big fan of, especially again, it's more geared towards software as a service companies, but he's a big fan of what he calls a sales assistant. And this is
Yeah. Okay.
a junior person. This should be the founder's first hire, right? And this is someone that can, it's not necessarily an entry level, it's not a low skill job, it's someone to kind of help fill the pipeline of sales, because originally he says, hey, initially the founder's doing all the sales. And he's saying it's very tempting to go and you're growing, but to hire a vice president of sales, big strategic sales leader, sales manager, it's certainly, very capable, very knowledgeable. It just may be too early sometimes. So he says hire a sales assistant, $20 an hour, 25 an hour, maybe a little more, a little less, maybe some incentive. But that person's job is to kind of fill up the pipeline, right? Keeping, because the founder should be at that point, doesn't need to be chasing deals left and right. The founder should be just
Hmm.
closing the deals, if even that. So that's a
Hmm.
great example of kind of a first hire. Some people say, hey, you really need to bring in someone that will, be really great at helping you, um, monitor the books, a controller to some degree, if it's outsourced, where's the money going? It sounds like, yeah, a lot coming in, but, a common theme among entrepreneurs that raise $1 million, they say, oh, this will last us forever. It's gone in 6 months, right? It's, but someone to kind of
Right.
help with, financial reporting, to kind of put that in perspective, depending on your size. I mean, there's lots of possibilities, and maybe you can hire a, kind of kind of goes along with the sales assistant, kind of an executive assistant,
Hmm.
kind of an early
Hmm.
stage chief of staff. Harvard Business Review's got a good article on the three levels of a chief of staff, three being super strategic, expert, one
Hmm.
being kind of blocking and tackling. But those all maybe make a lot of sense to look at. Some people would argue nowadays, hey, you need someone that's, human resources, even if it's just kind of part-time or contract, to help, shape up the hiring strategy for growth. I know one startup, and they've done very well. They've raised some money, and they actually have like a pretty senior human resources vice president of people. That was a hire they did before vice president of marketing, before vice president of sales, before vice president of product development. The founders definitely had some, had a lot of expertise, but they said we're gonna have to. That's gonna be our big challenge as people, right? So I think what you want to do is you want to look at your business, and again, going back to being honest of where you want it to be. You want to grow and raise a lot of money. Do you want to have the lifestyle business where you're working 3 hours a day and the rest of the time you're doing what you want to do?
Hmm.
What are the important levers and pieces that can really make a difference, and that will determine who to best hire. But again, all those people should also have shared values. They can have different perspectives on things. They can have different opinions. You may not even agree or even kind of like these people, if that makes sense. But as long as the values and commitment to the purpose is there, you can usually find good people. But it does vary from place to place, and again, depends on the business. But again, look at your personal goals, and then look at the levers of the business. What are the things that make the business move, and what are going to be the business's big challenges in terms of horsepower, or more importantly, maybe easier to think about if you're the founder, the business owner, and if you found yourself running at 10,000 RPMs, 12 hours a day, apart from the risk of burning out, you're not going to have any time whatsoever to capitalize on new opportunities. So you might look at that and say, okay, I'm real busy right now. We're all busy. If the dream opportunity came around today, whether that be the big investor we were chasing, the big customer, the big partnership deal, the new product development we have to do, and I need to be involved in that, and I don't have the time to be involved in that, what do I need to get off my plate to allow me to pursue that opportunity? And that might be some inspiration to find the right role for the first hire. And maybe an anecdotal example, if your team's growing and you got, say, a big call center or a warehouse, and you're the one that's looking at resumes all day, that might make sense to to bring on someone in HR, right, to say, why don't you kind of start taking that, because I spend half my day reading resumes and doing interviews, right? Meanwhile, I can't get to the meeting with their next big customer because I'm doing interviews all day. If the thing is, well, geez, I'm spending all day handling customer service requests, or the clients are coming in, hey, this is buggy, this isn't working, then you might need an operations specialist, operations manager, right? Otherwise, you say, look, I can't get to you today, Mr. or Miss New Opportunity, because my head's in the sand responding to emails. So I think try to do that exercise, and I think that's a way to make some traction in determining who you should hire functionally.
I agree, and I love that that idea of VP of people, because every company is built with a great team, right? And I think some businesses more than others need that emphasis or focus. And as you're talking, I'm sort of nodding my head to all of these things, and I agree mostly. The fact that every business is different, the way you're approaching building it is different. So there's not one size fits all kind of thing. Some companies, like a SaaS company, may be really heavily focused on product and people. But, for your typical small growing company, there's a lot of operational components. I see at that second stage, a lot of systems that need to be put in place so that if you're looking to be bought, let's say you want to sell your company in 5 years, 3 years, it's going to increase the value of what you're worth to an investor or to an investment group, because they're looking at, say, oh, they have all their ducks in a row. It looks like they know how to make money. They know how to, serve their customer. They know how to market their product and tell a good story. They have all these factors in place. And to me, what it screams is COO. From a systematic standpoint, that initial maybe uncomfortable hire, maybe someone with a track record of installing systems from an operational standpoint, so you operate more efficiently, can keep the customers you currently have. So now you can go off and start bringing in new customers, while that person's overseeing the more sort of president operations role. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it is unique to the owner and the business that they're in. But the key thing that's coming out to me is being in tune with what you're driving towards, and then hiring around, even if it's maybe an uncomfortable hire, around those weaknesses.